Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 401 at scavengerlife.com.
I'm here to tell you that not all jobs are bad.
Very interesting.
You don't need to quit your job. I think that I have to sometimes hold back my enthusiasm for like people who learn how to scavenge and sell, and they're like, I'm going to quit my job, and because that's what we did, and
we're overzealous sometimes.
Yeah, but you do not have to do that. You know, not all jobs are bad. You know, doing something that you enjoy is important.
Yeah.
And no one should make you feel bad about that.
Right.
You know, no job will be perfect. Even selling on eBay isn't perfect. Right. You know, just because someone might quit their job and sell on eBay or Amazon or something doesn't make it like a paradise.
Right.
Scavenging and selling just about, just about giving people some financial breathing room,
Right.
Which we talk about a lot. Some people just say, I sell online to just save up for a nice vacation every year.
Right.
Or
to pay extra on my mortgage.
Yeah. Like we met a guy at Home Depot, actually. We bought a door. And the guy seemed kind of tired.
That was so funny.
And he's like, yeah, I'm working 2 jobs. I'm like, why are you doing that?
3 jobs.
Whatever, 3. We were like, why are you doing that?
What?
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna pay you. It's my house down in 3 years. So.
And we were like,
yeah,
you're awesome. Like, we got so excited because mostly you don't hear people say that. They're like, well, I got bills and I got child support and I got, he's like, oh, well, my house will be paid off in 3 years.
And we know people like on our forum who specifically sell on eBay to send their kids to college.
Right.
Yep. A woman, I think she says, is it like $100,000 a year? It's some tremendous amount of money, and she spends so much time selling on eBay.
Yeah.
But it's to put
she has
her
a goal.
kid through school without having any debt. I mean, my God. Go mom,
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I know on several recent podcasts, we've really been kind of celebrating people. There's a couple people on our forum that are doing these like a journal. A journal about their escape from their job.
Right.
One guy just quit his job, and another guy is planning on it.
Like slowly doing
but
that.
It's kind of cool to see the steps he's taking, to do it. But I just wanted to really be clear, I don't think people are fools for working jobs.
Right.
eBay can do things for you even if you do work a job.
Right.
However, one other thing, though, is that it's not an all or nothing like storyline about it's your job. Like, you could say, I want to leave my full-time job, but it's negotiate a part-time schedule with that same company.
Right.
And I'm just going to say, I'll come in for 20 hours a week, but I'm just going to do X, Y, Z, the parts of the job that are still fun.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Part of that is like, you become like a freelance contractor.
Right.
Like
that's what we are. Yeah.
Like, we still do our video work. Like, we're a video production professionals. It's kind of our skill. And we still have been doing that the past 10 years.
Yeah.
We just now, because we sell on eBay, we have the freedom to pick and choose our clients.
Yeah.
Because we still enjoy the challenge of using our professional skills without being dragged down by the petty politics of an unhealthy workplace. That's the thing I always hate about a job. Like, it's when I rail against a job.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the contract work we do, we still are not immune from the politics within an organization. I mean, even though we're not even really a part of it.
I mean, we're barely a part of it. It still affects us.
And it's still like emotionally draining to even start getting involved in that,
Yep.
But that's a great thing about contract jobs is that we always it's negotiate a beginning and an end.
Right.
Like, we're going to start on this day, we're going to end on this day, or we're going to do this project and then it's going to end.
Right.
It's forever job that I hated, where it was basically like I go in Monday,
I leave on Friday,
the next day, and then it's still like
just for our personalities, it just wasn't it just didn't work.
Yep. Something else we were talking about on the forum, because I was trying to share this with people, like, hey, people don't have to quit their jobs. And one guy said, well, you know what? The reason why I'm leaving is just because my career in this form has run its course. And that makes a lot of sense, Like, you studied, you worked a job for a decade, and you're kind of like, I kind of hit all the... I hit all the high points. I feel like I'm at the top of my game, and I don't see anything beyond this. So eBay can help you bridge to your next career.
Yeah.
So eBay doesn't have to be your full-time job.
Right.
But it could be the thing while you go to a nursing school or programming school or buy a food truck. Well,
yeah. I mean, that's true. It can be the bridge between you starting your own other business.
Right. Like, or not even a business, just to work another career. So you're a nurse. You're tired of being a nurse. You sell on eBay to hold you over to train to become a therapist.
Right.
Or you're a factory worker and you quit that, sell on eBay, and you become a teacher. I don't know.
It's just
those kind of things.
Right, exactly. Changing.
What a great idea.
That's great.
I think the other thing is when we start to sell online, it just helps us to, if you do go full time, and people get stressed out about what do I do if I don't have a job. I find like when we started to work at home and sell online, our lives just became cheaper.
Yeah.
We don't drive as much.
Right. We don't eat out.
We cook all of our own meals.
Yep.
So there's a lot of savings that come inherently. We don't have to spend a lot of money on clothes because we don't have anywhere to go to impress people.
Right. We don't have like the office clothes budget.
Right. I mean, I basically have like 3 outfits that I just always wear because they're so comfortable.
Yeah.
And so I'm clean, but I'm not having to like have multiple outfits.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wear these outfits until they kind of like fall off my body. And then I just find another one
at the thrift store.
Yeah.
We
don't spend a lot of money on vacations because when we go somewhere now, it's usually attached to
the job,
scavenging trips, where we're even making making on these trips, rather than like we work a job and like you have to take a vacation that costs a lot of money to just like save your sanity. I think the biggest takeaway is really when anyone makes these choices is just like, I feel like most people live their lives kind of between the decisions they need to make. Like they know they need to make a choice. It's scary. They never make the choice. So they're just kind of like in between. And that's almost the worst place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, I totally see that where you're like, I have to figure out if I'm going to stay at this job or buy a house or, like, those are not easy decisions.
Yeah. Like, what I learned in college was I was an English major.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
So we read a lot of books and plays and stories. Yeah. And what a tragedy is not a sad story. A tragedy is like when a character has to make a choice, but he or she didn't make that choice. So something bad happened.
Right.
And it's just a tragedy because like there was a way out.
There was a potential.
And they didn't see the way out.
Yeah.
Or they didn't choose to make that choice. And that's what is a classic tragedy.
Right.
It's not just like a sad story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, don't be a tragedy.
Don't be a tragedy, but your job might be just fine. So, that's fine.
One final thing I will say, too, before we started this together, before I met you, I just had a job. They would pay me, whatever, $300 a week, $500 a week. I forgot what it was. It was every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I would get that in my bank account, and I would just unnaturally spend it all.
Yeah.
I was smart enough to have them take money out before it hit my bank account.
I did the same thing.
And that's what helped us buy our house.
Yep.
But if it had gone to my bank account, I would have just spent it. Because that's just what I...
Well, you're like, what else am I supposed to do with my money?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't make a lot of money, so it's not like I was wasting it. But, I just would go to eat and just go to movies.
Well, you're in New York, so it was a little expensive.
I find that us doing this forced me to forced us to do our numbers.
Yeah.
You know, to actually sit down and learn what we spend, what we make.
Right.
You know, if we spend too much here, then we don't have money to do X. Yeah. I find like most people don't do that.
Right. Well, I also think part of it was the realization that if you spend less, you get to work less.
Yeah.
Like as a freelancer, you're like, oh, we don't have to struggle to get jobs if like we don't have like all these high expenses.
Right. And a lot of the stuff is just like, you know, basic 1, 2, 3 steps in personal finance.
Sure.
Which if you Google online, there's just like so much
info
about this, about doing your numbers. So even if you don't quit your job to do eBay, if you do sell online, I think it starts to make you think like a business person.
Right.
And any business person who is worth their salt knows what their numbers are.
Yeah.
You know, they're not just randomly selling and spending.
Right.
They're making a money. They know how much they make, and then they know how much they actually spend.
Yeah.
So they're going somewhere.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then they know with this money I'm making, what do I do with this?
Right.
You know.
Right. Well, I think also when you, like you were saying, when you get a paycheck, it's easy if you don't have, like you were saying, I think I had half my paycheck go into my savings account. I had like an orange savings account, so I didn't see that, and the other half went into my like checking account to pay bills and stuff. And you know, if you're just getting your paycheck and you're like paying your rent and paying your bills and paying your car payment and then like buying a bunch of stuff and going out to eat, and you're like, okay, like you said, that's living paycheck to paycheck. Right. That's what most people do.
And you know, I was like, well, I'm gonna get paid again in 2 weeks, so
automatically
it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
if the money's gone, because you know.
Well, what's funny is being a freelancer, that money is never guaranteed. So there isn't the guarantee of, oh, I'm going to get paid in 2 weeks. No, you actually might not get paid for a month. You might not have any jobs for a month. So you better save up the 3 checks you got.
That's the thing about, even if you don't work for yourself full time, just having any kind of business at all just helps you start to think like that.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
You have to be more dynamic with your money than just, you know.
Yeah.
But also the other thing about people with jobs with paychecks, like those jobs are never guaranteed to stick around either. So that is a scary thing.
I guess I just wanted to bring it up because I know that there are people who themselves personally are like on board about running their own a business, but maybe they have a partner who isn't, or who is supportive, but it's like, come on,
not really,
like curb your enthusiasm here. Like
that's what you say to me sometimes.
We have like 3 kids here, like you know. This, you know, so that way you could still run a business and have all these benefits.
Yeah.
Without having to have your partner be 100% on board. Or they see, like, for a couple of years, you're doing this part-time and you're making a consistent X amount of dollars that's helping pay for X.
The mortgage,
and your partner's like, wait a second.
This is good,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And then you rope them in, and then you're like...
Yeah, it's like partners. A rodeo, like an online rodeo.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about eBay for us this week. We've still been going through all the items we bought at that auction a week ago, where we spent $1,600.
It was $1,400, honey.
$1,400.
Yeah, the number goes up.
$1,400. Although a lot of that, again, was stuff that we're going to use in our rentals. But it was a lot of money for us.
That's a big chunk.
Like, this week, we spent $17 on items. So,
so
that's like an anomaly for us. But we've been going through it, and I always feel this way after an auction where we spend a lot. I'm like, did I just go...
Did I go
like,
crazy?
This is nuts.
Did I go overboard?
But I was going through some of the stuff on my own, and... I'm finding good stuff.
Yeah, hidden stuff.
And I was thinking, you know, what's motivating me to like spend all this? And it's like, at auctions it's great because you can buy piles of stuff, and the hope is you're buying a lot more stuff that's worth over $100.
Yeah.
Than if you just go to a thrift store and, you know, you're buying a single item that you know is like $20 or $30.
30 to 50, hopefully.
Yeah.
50s.
But really, come on. It's like a lot of times $20 to $30. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
But at auctions, it's great. There's a lot more chance you can find those items
hidden or like I find a lot of times with box lots, you're looking for one thing and then you dump it out and you're like, what's that? I didn't even know that was in there. That's worth $200, you know?
And that's kind of like my secret goal that I've been having for a long time now is like, how do we make our store have more
higher dollar items
without having to spend quite as much,
right?
You know,
right?
So
that is the ultimate goal for any scavenger.
Right?
Don't spend a lot. Stuff is high quality and sells for a lot. You know, it's a tough equation. You know, it just is.
Okay, the spring seller update has come out, or this is like
a preview, right?
I don't quite understand it because honestly, as crazy as it is, we don't really keep up that much in like the inner workings of eBay.
Yeah.
We just get those messages that everybody else does. Yeah, it was like a preview of the spring seller update.
I don't know why.
For anyone that's new, eBay does this. They have now 3 every a year.
Spring, summer, and fall.
Fall, where they're always tweaking. They're like taking their store and they're kind of cranking it a little bit. And it's new rules, new fees,
new requirements,
different initiatives are starting, and some of them are really super annoying.
And some of them are just, in our opinion, fine.
So I don't know if this is the final or if they're going to add more, but I thought I'd quickly go through it. Okay. And I will say, I see this as one of the best and at least invasive updates in a long time.
Yeah.
I don't see anything here. And when I say invasive, oftentimes eBay will come up with these things where they make you change the way you run your business.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal. It's like, okay, we had this flow of process and now like,
and now you got to do
we got to do it like this.
Yeah.
So I don't see anything here that's going to change the way we do business. Okay. Number 1, send offers to buyer.
Right. We've talked about this for a couple weeks.
Sorry. That doesn't even make sense.
Send offers to watchers.
Send offers to a watcher of your item.
Yes. Who are potential buyers.
Right. And we've all kind of already seen this.
As beta, hidden.
So it sounds like they're going to try and just make it
cool.
a thing.
I love it.
Whatever.
Let's see what...
It's cool.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah. We made no sales making offers that way, but...
Number 2. Edit active listings directly in the seller hub. What does that mean? So what I'm thinking it means is when you go on your like active items page.
Right, where they're the columns and you see.
Normally you have to like.
Click edit.
Click on the item.
Right.
Click edit.
Yeah.
Then change your price.
Right.
Then hit save.
Or then change the title if there's a misspelling.
And then go back to wherever you were. This is going to be more like anyone that's ever sold on Amazon is like, where you'll have.
That's right. You could do that
a
on
list
Amazon.
of your actives, and then the price was dynamic.
It was editable.
You could just go and be like, no, I'll take this down 10 cents. Now, I will say, on Amazon, it's one reason why I hated it. Because they had a thing where they would tell you, you know, if your item is for $10, the lowest one is $8.
Yeah.
Do you want to change it?
And it would have a button yes or no.
Yeah,
like match the match button. And oh, God.
I got to say, I was always, I'm just like, ooh. Yeah. If I lower it $2, maybe I'll sell it. And then you lower it, and then it doesn't sell, and then the next week it's like, oh, the lowest one is $7.40.
Oh my God!
Do you want to match that? You know, so it's a race to the bottom.
Totally.
I'm wondering if eBay's going to move to that thing that
yeah, they might.
But ultimately, I think it's positive because there are times I want to change a price, and times. It does stink. You have to like click through.
Yeah, it is kind of a pain. It should be faster.
Okay, number 3, download the orders report directly in Seller Hub.
I don't understand. I read that and I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Someone on the forum had been like, that's for people that have like big commodity item stores.
Like they need a spreadsheet?
Yeah, it's like a spreadsheet, some kind of like inventory management system.
Okay, well, that's for those big sellers.
That's fine. Number 4, the listing duration for all fixed priced items will now be good till canceled.
This is the biggest, like, I don't know why this wasn't number one on the list, but this is the biggest change not for us.
Yeah.
For a lot of people that do 30 and relist.
On the forum, this was a thing that people were debating about the most.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that we are OG good till canceled.
Like from day one.
For life. And we've gotten a lot of flack from it, and people think we're crazy.
They think our listings are going down in search.
So for us, it's kind of like...
We're like, aha!
eBay's giving us a big hug. They're
Victory!
like, it doesn't... good till canceled is the way to go, So
this is what I didn't understand, what the difference between good till canceled and a 30-day listing with auto relist. I'm like, that is literally the exact same thing. It doesn't change the item number. So how is that,
I guess there were a couple of arguments why people were upset. So number one is this is actually a change that will make people have to switch up
their business. This one is for some people, yeah.
If this does, I can see why it's annoying to you. But the reasons why they liked having just 30-day and that would end would be it forces them to look at their items. Yep. They're like, okay, these items just ended. They haven't sold in 30 days.
I'll adjust the price.
I'm going to go through and look at,
make sure,
prices, titles, it's making me do that.
Yeah.
Number two is that whole, for lack of a better word, conspiracy idea that if you allow your things to end,
it refreshes them.
Even for some reason they think, I don't quite understand it, but even if it doesn't give you a new ID number, just the fact that it's ending and redoing it, and gives you higher value in the search. And
it has never been provable.
Yeah, I mean, TSAT Troy, he shared his numbers because he does them very well, and he saw he would sell an extra, I don't know what it was, 5 to 15 extra items so he has 2,000 something items, so he would sell, he thinks 5 to 15 items more
when they
ended and redid it, which to me is it's not bad. It's nothing to laugh at. If it's $30 an item, you're making an extra, $200.
Right.
But it's not statistically you're selling 10% more of your entire store.
Well, you hope that when eBay changes it to everything is good till canceled, that in air quotes manipulation of search, it's not possible anyway now. Right. No one can do that anyway. So eBay's algorithm has to be good enough to organically find items.
Well, eBay does do that now, where if your item is listed in good till canceled for more than 18 months,
it gets stale. It's 16 months.
16 months. It actually puts a banner on that item that says this has been up for 16 months
and hasn't sold.
You should look at it.
Right.
So I don't know if they're going to continue to do that.
That's interesting.
But I would like for them to be more transparent. What is the time frame when you're going to start to push my listing down? In search?
Is it 16 months? Yeah. And with those 16 months, how do you make those fresher? I mean, you end them and you relist them.
And the good thing was someone posted some little blurb that some VP at eBay, they were like, we hear you. People don't like that you can't end them after 30 days. So we're going to do something for you. On your active page of all your items, they're going to add a column that will show you the number of days that item has been
listed
without being sold. So if you want, I'm assuming you'll be able to go to your actives and sort
by that time,
by date. So if you want, you could just, the first of every month, do a sort. Anything that's been up for more than 30 days.
Bring the price down.
Just, you can go and change it.
Maybe your title is crappy.
So it's not the same thing where it automatically ends and goes into your category where it's all the things that haven't sold. You just now have to make a day of it.
Here's an example. I had a bunch of vintage clothes hangers that we actually took out of our storage, but they were nice wooden,
and they're just too big. Yeah.
They're bulky. They're taking up a ton of room in my storage. It's a pain. And I was looking at them in storage, and I was like, I gotta check the price on these. And I looked at the price, and I had priced them. I must have thought these things were made out of gold, because I was like, some of them are cool because they have like the old logos of like an old like
hotel
haberdashery or whatever, and you're like, that's cool. But I had like one of those. Like, it's not worth $80 for like a stack of plain ones with one of those. So I went in and I was like, I am slashing, which is not something we generally don't do. I mean, we are very much like buy and hold, you know, but I was like, I'm slashing the prices on these, like $24 for a stack of 10 vintage heavy duty, you know, $13 for 5. I've been selling those, like I've sold 3 huge lots plus a single one the other day. And it's funny because sometimes you are like, it is good to see it in front of you and be like, what is that? I gotta check that. Why is that just sitting here?
Well, we talked about it. We definitely buy and hold, but there are times where we're just like, it's taking up too much room. And basically, we price it just to get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's not a good selling overall strategy. Like, I don't want to price my entire inventory just to move it as fast as possible. Right. That's not what we're doing. Someone told me that Terminal 99,
Will.
I don't know if this is true, but he said he makes YouTube videos in which he talked to him.
Interviewed him a couple of years ago,
He sells the kind of same things.
Yeah, unique, vintage, antique.
This guy said that Will put his store on 60% sale, and so of course has been selling like crazy. I don't know what his motivation is to do that. If he's trying to get out and it's just like, let me get rid of all this stuff, or if you like raise your prices by 60% and then you just put a 60% sale. I mean, or if he's just, I don't know. But to me, that's a crazy way to sell because your profit goes down so much.
But I don't know, but it depends on how much his cost of goods are because, I'm thinking if you're making 40%, where's your profit? But if you're buying stuff or getting stuff for so cheap.
But I think for people, a good experiment is like just put your store, especially if you have like more than 1,000 items, put your store on like 15% or even 20%. And you'll see, at least in our experience, it does not move the needle very far. People are not that price like, know, there isn't like an army of people waiting to buy your item if you just bring the price down
They're waiting
a little
for that
bit.
Item,
Unfortunately, and people hate to hear this, they're not looking at your item at all.
Yeah.
Not because there's a better item somewhere else, just because this item is something that they just don't need. And
at that moment.
You just have to wait till they're there. We find like just having a well-researched price and good quality with good photos.
Good title.
That's what sells it.
Yeah.
And it's just waiting.
Yeah.
It's not just if I bring my prices down by 20%, I'm going to sell half my store.
Right. And look, we've experimented with that where we're like, okay, 30% sale on all women's sweaters and jackets. Did I sell any? No, I didn't.
Because
you're like, people still don't want this one.
No one wants
this jacket.
Thing. Yeah. I find that if you really want a store where you're selling everything like it's within a month, which I think some people have a fantasy that that's what they want, you have to be more like someone that sells on Amazon.
It's a race to the
They're
bottom.
going around, they're scanning. It's when you purchase. They're only buying things when they scan it has a good ranking to it. Where they know if I buy this, people are searching for this thing.
Right.
And then I'm going to compete on the price.
Right.
And I'm going to sell this. So I'm going to spend, $5,000 on these diaper rags or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sell them all for $8 in a month. That's the way you have to run your business if you want it to be like fast turnover.
Yep.
The way we do it, it's just, even people that sell clothes, like...
God, I'm so much slower than most clothing sellers. I mean, I am just like... Same thing, sit and wait. And you know what? The last couple of weeks, we've sold a lot of clothes. Yeah. Oddly enough.
Yep.
Okay,
we just went on a big tangent. Number 4.
People are like, I am so bored right now.
Number 5. Provide item specifics to list items without the eBay catalog. I don't know what that is.
Okay, so I think so. My hypothesis is that eBay, and we've noticed this, we've all noticed this as sellers and as buyers, eBay is trying to get away from the description. They hide it most of the time. Most people don't even see it or read it because they ask you the question of the information that's in the description, and they want item specifics. Everything you have to say about the item, the color, the waist size, the brand, the material, is all in item specific.
Right, because they want structured data.
And structured data so that you're like, I need a 100% cotton set of king sheets. And it eliminates the fact that you have to put the word 100% cotton in your title because it's already in the data. It's already searching for that. It's one of those check boxes on the left. I want only 100% cotton. Brings up.
It's basically what Amazon does.
It's just like Amazon.
So I don't know. I guess somehow that's helping us with that. Number 6, automatic updates of a new other, in quotes, condition of listings.
That's interesting. I don't know what that is going to entail, but new other is helpful when you have a new item, like a pair of shoes that has no tags and has no box.
Right.
That would be new without box, but you're like, this, I know this t-shirt has never been worn and it has no tags.
Right.
And you want to be able to have that.
Yeah, it's not used,
but it's not straight off the store rack with all the wrapping.
Okay.
I don't know, but they already kind of have that, but they don't actually have that for every category. So sometimes they just have new used and you're like, well, it's new, but it's not wrapped, you know.
So it says automatic update. So I don't know.
So
what that
maybe
means.
That'll expand.
Number 7.
How long is this?
We have a couple
spring
more.
Update.
Number 7.
Jeez.
Terapeak subscription is now available on eBay if you have a store subscription.
So they mean it's free?
It's free.
Okay. We were talking about that when they bought Terapeak. We were like,
they listen to us. They listen to us.
It better be. I mean, we pay so much for stores. You're like, give us some kind of incentive here.
I should know this. I don't know if all it takes is a basic store subscription or if it's only for, the
I guess we'll have to see.
But basically, Terapeak is like a worth point. It's like one of these companies that I guess was buying access to eBay's historical selling data and then would structure it so I could go do a search on this weird vase and see the buying history of it for the past 5 years.
Which is helpful because when you're selling unique items, there are times where you're like, okay, this isn't a Ralph Lauren polo shirt, which I can basically guess the prices on.
Right.
This is an 1800s, blown glass something or other. And you can see on Terapeak or WorthPoint without signing in, hey, this sold. And they want you to obviously make an account.
And then everyone goes on the
forum and says, anyone with a WorthPoint, can you log in and tell me how much this sold for? Which is hilarious.
So these companies, Terapeak and at WorthPoint, I don't know how expensive it was, $10 to $30 a month to get access, which is tough. It's your business. We didn't want to pay that. We've always just depended on eBay. And you can search, I think,
90 days.
And for most items, that was enough. Because if data gets too old, 5 years ago, prices aren't the same as it was 5 years ago. But eBay bought this company, Terapeak. So I think it's really cool. It makes sense for them just to build that system and give us access for free. So it's cool.
Yeah, totally.
I think this is one of the coolest, biggest things eBay has done for a seller without making them pay extra.
That's a huge advantage, and it's an incentive to buy a store. Yeah. Like, look, there are...
To pay the subscription.
To pay the subscription, buy a store. Pay a subscription fee for the store because I will buy stuff on eBay. I buy stuff on eBay all the time. And I will see sellers that have 800 items and I don't see the little visit the store link. I'm like, oh my God, they're just like listing these individually.
I forgot there's like a way to do like a formula, like how many items would I need to keep in my store before it makes sense just to buy
a store.
I think it's like
it's pretty low
or something. Because I think without a store it costs I don't even know these days. Is it 25 cents or it's 50 cents an item each month?
It's pricey.
But if you have a store subscription, it brings it down a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay, and then number 8, the final one.
Oh my God.
State sales tax requirement update, where eBay basically is acknowledging that now that it's the dam is burst
of the land.
open,
yes.
Counties, states can now charge a tax on any item sold to someone in their state.
Yes.
We don't need to have a business in that state. I just need to sell to someone in that state.
And eBay will take care of it. If you are outside of Washington State and you have been selling to people in Washington State, and there are a couple other states, I sold something to someone this morning in Washington State, and I see this little note from eBay, says something like, state sales tax is included in the sales record and will be taken care of and remitted by eBay.
And I think that was everyone's nightmare. I mean, those of us that run this little small store. Right. I mean, I can't collect taxes for
every
3,000 different
city,
places and then submit it at the end of the year. So it's smart. eBay is simply going to pull that money. We never see it. We don't touch it.
Right.
eBay gives it to who it needs to go to. And then at the end of the year, I don't need to do any extra taxes. It's just, I run my business the same exact way. And then states and counties get more.
So what's interesting to me, and this was a question I always had, is the sales tax taken out from my state because you technically bought it in my state, or their state? So it is the buyer's state. So, my buyer's in Washington State and they are getting that sales tax because the person paying the money was in that. So that's fine. I'm sure it'll all even out because people are all over the country buying online.
Yeah. I will say before we do our numbers about the good till canceled and people upset. Like a woman said, I just don't like the idea of signing up for something and paying without me having to do anything.
It's good till forever.
Starting something, and if I don't stop it, it's just going to keep charging me month.
Right.
I like it to end. And
interesting.
I was like, we've always said this where, I hope eBay makes a listings free. Yeah. It's free to a list on Amazon. It's free to a list on Poshmark. A lot of these places. And I'm like, eBay should just stop charging. But someone on the forum, is My Cottage.
Yeah.
She said that actually it's good that eBay charges because it kind of filters out the scammers and lazy people that list
crappy listings.
Yeah, and it's kind of true. If you go on a Letgo or
Letgo or
OfferUp.
Oh my God. I mean, it's like garbage land. It's horrible.
Even it's Craigslist, because there's no barrier to entry. And I know people love how easy it is to take pictures and a list. It doesn't cost you anything. You're going through it and it's just depressing.
It's just
garbage. Dark photos.
One photo of an item. I mean, I look, I've seen it on eBay. I bought some stuff last week.
It doesn't mean that there isn't junk on eBay too.
Right.
But I find it costs you to list that junk.
So you better.
So if you're listing junk and not taking good pictures, you're not very smart. You're going to lose money. Because it's costing you.
Yeah.
If it doesn't cost anything to list on eBay, then I just think you'll see a lot more of that stuff. So,
but is that true for Poshmark? I mean, I guess Poshmark is a very specific market too. It's not like Craigslist where it's literally anyone selling anything.
Right. I don't know. It's an interesting idea that really a listing fee is just a barrier to entry,
right?
And not a very big one,
right?
But it's just enough to keep out people that would normally just be listing, the junkiest junk.
Yeah, true. Anyway, maybe.
Gut reaction to the week, Ryan. I don't need a number.
Okay, I won't give you a number. I'm gonna say the needle points. The needle's here in the middle. It's pointing down towards slowish.
Okay. Well, it was one of those weeks where by Thursday night, we'd only sold like $600 or $700 worth of stuff, where it just felt really. I mean, we were selling like 2 or 3 things a day,
and it would be like an $8 item,
a lot of $14. You know,
yeah, you're just like, why?
But then the end of the week, we really started to sell, and we ended up selling about $1,300 worth of stuff, which isn't gangbusters,
right?
But it's over the $1,000 that we like to sell. So, you know, it's like a solid week for us. You know, $1,300.
I mean, that's pretty low.
Yeah,
but it's not $700.
Right.
So,
but again, I will always say, for us, the $1,000 point is
that's the goal.
A must-have.
Yeah.
So for me, it helps me to be like, as long as we made our goal,
we're good.
I feel okay.
Yeah.
Things we sold this week, it's like you said, it was a lot of clothes.
A lot of clothes.
Shoes. The thing I love, we sold 4 pieces of random artwork.
Totally
and this
weird.
is like going to auctions.
Yeah.
They'll be selling like a big box of just random artwork.
Like stuff that's framed, stuff that's unframed.
Nobody wants it.
People think it's garbage.
We'll get it for cheap. And we have a lot of it.
And we have a lot of it.
But I think that's a skill that you have. You're good about going through and like putting prices on it that I would be like, I would never do that. We sold 1 piece of art for $200.
Yeah.
Just a throwaway piece of art.
And I had a much higher price. I think I had a $5.99 on that price because I was like, okay. Look, I had $5.99 on it so I could get that $200 offer. Because if I had $200, she'd offer me $75 or $50, you know. So yeah, and then there are other pieces of art too that sometimes you're kind of like, this is kind of a junky kind of hotel type piece of art. But then I'll look at it and I'll be like, well, it's framed well. It has a nice frame, like a wooden molded frame, and the print actually is kind of a nice print. Like you look at it a little bit closer and you're like, I'd put like $75 on that and take a lower offer.
And that's really where your art school like education came in. Like I would never have known this. Be able to tell the difference between a lithograph, and something else, like a seriograph, and this screen print, and I'm just
You're like, I don't know, it's a painting.
So anyway, 4 pieces, $200, $50, and 2 pieces for $25. But that's $300.
I mean, those $25 pieces were like, you're like, you just get this out. That's fine.
Just one final thing I'll talk about is we sold a sugar bowl for $120.
Yeah, it was Royal Copenhagen, which is a high-end brand. And what's funny is I'm all about parting stuff out. It was a sugar bowl with a creamer set. Sold them separately. I was like, this is Royal Copenhagen's pretty high-end. So I was like, I'm selling. So I think I sold the creamer for $125 and I sold the sugar 2 weeks later for $125.
Yeah.
That's $250. I think I bought that set together for like less than $4 at the thrift store.
I love it.
I mean, you cannot beat that. You cannot beat that. That is a good return.
Okay, Scavenge of the week. We went to one thrift store, spent $17. But the Scavenge of the week was we found an Apple TV, a Generation 3.
At the thrift store.
And actually, we got it super cheap, a couple bucks, and we're going to use it for our next rental.
Yeah, it prevents me from having to buy one on eBay.
I mean, that's a cool thing. So we have this rental we're finishing up. We've done the sheetrock. We're having it painted this week. We're going to do the floor soon. So we still have a couple more months before it's ready to go. But for the past 6 months, we've been gathering items for this place. So actually upstairs in our...
Currently taking up half my bedroom.
Yeah, it's like we have rugs and lamps, and now we have an Apple TV, and it's everything. So, but that's a
great find. We plugged it in. It worked fine. It was signed into someone's account. We reset the whole thing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, customer issues. So we had a weird buyer. We've been talking about this the past couple of weeks about like who are these people that like make you an offer, so they're actively involved, you accept it, and then they don't pay, or they say they're like in the hospital or something. It's like, what? We had a buyer that gave us an offer like on a high price piece of...
It was art.
Yeah.
Over $500.
And it was like, what, a month ago or something?
Yeah, it was a month ago.
And then just silence, they didn't pay, so we let eBay automatically end it and give them a black mark.
It, yeah.
Then the buyer like sent us an eBay a message with a smiley face.
Like that was just a month later.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll bite. I was like, why didn't you pay for this
item?
And this is what he said. He said, I said, were you just goofy? He was like, yeah, I'm just a goofy guy. I couldn't pay for an item and you reported my other account.
This must have been a couple of months ago.
So I just wanted to mess it with you guys a little bit. That's what he said, or she said. He
admitted that So let's just preface this saying this is one of those guest accounts with zero feedback.
Right, for a second.
He opened a second account.
So he must have bought something a while ago on his real account.
Never paid for it. I opened an unpaid item case.
So then he bought something else on a guest account.
Right.
And then didn't pay, thinking it would bother us. And
it did bother us.
But really, ultimately, it's not that big of a deal. So we actually called eBay.
I actually called eBay and reported him.
Because we had his full name and address.
Full name, address, and phone number. So you're like, I can't link his accounts because I don't know what it was that he bought that he never paid for. Because I don't know his other username.
But I only bring this up because I find like this is this is so rare where we've actually had
someone explain something.
That someone was open with the fact that it wasn't just a mistake or whatever. It was like kind of premeditated. So
I bet he like bought some low dollar item like a sweater and never paid for it and was like, oh, those people, you're like, really?
It's just like,
so bizarre.
Yeah, just pay for the stuff you buy.
Yeah.
So we had another coffee part returned. So we parted out a maker that we had, and it's cool, but this is the second one, and the buyer said the piece was broken.
Cracked.
So it's coming back. We'll give them a refund.
It might have been cracked, and I didn't show it well enough, or my helper didn't show it well enough in the photos. So I'm going to retake the photo.
Yeah, and just check it.
It worked. That part, I know exactly which part it is. It worked fine when we took the machine apart.
Well, it's still a positive story. We've sold 10 pieces so far, but we've had 2 of them now returned. I also just think this is just the nature when you sell any kind of electronic, mechanical stuff.
I will say the first one was not our fault. Right. I think they bought the wrong model part, and that was, I disputed it when they returned it and didn't return all their shipping.
Yeah.
This part I cannot dispute it because it's like we sold it damaged a little bit, and clearly we didn't disclose that because I couldn't see it in the photo either. So
okay, things we learned in the forum. Seam Store. This is a person on the forum, and they sell men's clothing. So he said, everyone keep an eye out on your service metrics. eBay has begun passing out the final value fee penalties.
Can you explain this to me again?
Cool. So here it is. So eBay talked about this a while ago.
Yeah.
So we all have these metrics now. If you go to your seller hub, it's like, transaction defect rate, late shipment rate, tracking uploaded and time validated, cases closed without seller So there's actually a page, and if we can remember it, we will link to it on the thing. But it's the service metrics are that they're judging us by is items not as described
returns.
Right.
It's by category. It's really weird. You can't look at like all of them.
And then items not received. And then eBay has a chart here that shows you our numbers compared to other people. So we're average on items not received, 3 out of 577 items.
Okay.
And then items not described.
But that's just in clothing.
Right. We're actually under what other people are. So what I've read is if you're very high up here, eBay, I guess now is not only will they possibly suspend your store, I guess, or give you a talking to, they'll actually make you pay
higher
a
fees.
higher fee when you actually sell
But
items.
this is the thing that is so annoying is, so it says, total transactions out of 200, 3 item not as described, which I'm sure I disputed in the return, where they're like, this isn't the right color pink. You're like, that does not count.
That's exactly what
it's super annoying.
That's exactly what the seam store said. He was like, I've talked to 3 or 4 anchor customer service reps who assured me that while the metrics aren't appealable, the extra fee is appealable.
Oh my God. So it's just like another thing to call about. You're like, really?
So,
God, yeah.
This is
super annoying.
It's just one of those things where, like, they're raising
more
the bar
fees.
Higher.
Yeah.
But I guess to be the other voice, these are the things that keep eBay clean
from bad sellers
and good.
Yep.
If you're a seller who's selling stuff where a large percentage where buyers are like, this isn't what I bought.
Yeah.
Like you did not
those
describe
are red flags.
This. I bought these kind of items on eBay where the item looks great, and then you get it and you're like, this part's broken.
That actually happened to me last week.
You didn't tell me that.
The person was like, in their description, they're like, these look great. They're in excellent condition. And I got the items and I was like, these are absolutely filthy. Like, I have to clean them before I handle them or do anything with them.
But it's like our coffee part. So, that guy said he got the part and it's broken.
Right.
We'll get it back. And, because we know that there's consequences to selling broken parts, we're going to really check and see, did we miss something? And we're going to make sure that doesn't happen.
Right. It gets relisted
instead
properly.
Of just like snapping photos of a bunch of junk and just hoping it's all okay. So anyway, that's the other side. Other things. Oh yeah. So in the forum, I just want to say, if you want to join us, go to scavengerlife.com/forum.
Yes.
You just sign up for it. Then email us and say, hey, I just joined. Can you approve me?
Right.
Then you'll get approved.
Right.
Again, we just say that because we get a lot of spammers, and we don't like spam.
We have an open registration form. It's not a hidden form. So any spam bots that are like have spiders going through these WordPress sites, they sign up. So.
Okay, so let's answer questions that people sent in.
Okay, you can call our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486. Or you can email us an audio file from your phone. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Hey, you guys, this is Lindy Glenn. I was listening to your podcast this morning, and you were wanting more information about Poshmark shipping labels. So I was hoping that I could help you out with that a little bit. So if a buyer comes into your Poshmark closet and just buys something outright, the buyer is paying for the full shipping label, and you just get it in your email as the seller, and you don't have to worry about paying anything except for the 20% fee to Poshmark. The only time that you need to worry about paying anything for shipping is if you're sending out private offers to buyers where you select a partial discount or a full free shipping discount. And if you do that, then you do have to pay for the shipping cost in addition to the 20% fee that you pay Poshmark. You do also have to pay an additional fee if you need to upgrade the shipping label over 5 pounds. But unless someone is bundling a whole bunch of stuff or you're selling something on Poshmark that's very, very heavy, you almost never have to upgrade the shipping label. And that is also in addition to the 20% fee that you pay Poshmark. But if you're not sending out private offers or you're not upgrading the shipping label, then you don't ever have to worry about paying that. But another good thing about that is that if you do pay part of the shipping cost, it does come right off the top. You're not billed or anything. So whatever Poshmark disperses to you after the sale is complete, that is taking out like all of the Poshmark 20% fee and the shipping cost and all of that. Whatever money they give you is what's left after all that. So anyways, hopefully that clears it up for you guys. Thank you so much for the content. Really appreciate it. Love listening every single Monday morning. Take care, you guys.
So thanks. Yeah, several people called in about that, but her explanation was professional.
Spot on.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, we we brought this up because we actually sold something on Poshmark, a $200 pair of boots, and we were wondering how the shipping worked.
Yeah, because they were just like, here's your label. I was like, wow, that's cool.
I guess Poshmark takes 20%.
Right.
But they pay for the shipping.
Up to £5, or if you're doing private offers.
And I don't know if this is true. Someone said that Poshmark made a deal with the post office.
I would love to see that documentation.
Where they were willing to ship anything under £5 for
a flat price.
A flat price. So I don't know. That's cool.
I listed a bunch of stuff on Poshmark this week.
How much is a bunch of stuff?
25 items? It's a pain in the butt, man.
Mainly because we have all of our photos are on eBay. They're not on a hard drive. Yeah.
And like, from what I understand, I can't go into InkFrog and like download photos, download the 5 photos in this listing. Like I have to manually be like, right click, save photo as, save image as, oh my God. But I don't know, like I'm hoping that I could get a couple sales. I listed our like high priced dresses. The weird thing is I listed all our high priced dresses and then one of those dresses sold on eBay for a high price. I was like, that's unusual. I almost never sell dresses, even though I buy them all the time. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know if something's happening.
But the goal is for any time we try a different platform is what we want is a consistent stream of income from that platform. Right. So I've been watching Troy. He got up to 500 items in his Poshmark store. And for the past month or so, he seems to regularly be selling $300 worth of items a week.
That's a nice boost.
If we could make another $300, that would be worth it. But it means we'd have to list
a lot of work.
Like 500 items.
Yeah. So. I mean, I'm up to like 38 items and I'm like,
Yeah.
That's how probably people feel when they start on eBay.
So it's interesting. Troy says that 6-bit is what allows him to do it very quickly and easily. He says that he might do like a live...
Like video hangout
where he would walk people like us,
please.
All of us, he would show how he does 6-bit. Because, he talks about it's this third-party platform where it's basically built on top of eBay.
Right. Or whatever.
Pulls eBay's
online
API.
Platform you're using.
And then, so he does everything for eBay through
6-bit.
6-bit.
Like he lists.
And manages things, and he just says, I guess it gives him more control. We've looked at these things, So I don't know.
I would love to see just his perspective on it. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Is it worth?
Troy, you better do that hangout. We just announced it on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
We have no idea when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen.
Hey guys, this is Nathan or Millionaire Dojo on the forums. Just listening to the episode about taxes. You were talking about wanting to lower your taxable or your tax bill for the year and seeing if you had any options to do that, and you didn't mention anything about retirement accounts, so I thought I'd send in a tip about that. I won't get into the weeds on it, but if you talk to your accountant about it, maybe he can help you out. Anyways, there's a couple of options you have. You can do a 401k for your business, or there's something called a SEP IRA, and the contribution limit for 2019 is $56,000, so that's probably more than enough for most people to contribute to their retirement account. And anything that you contribute in these accounts lowers your taxable income. So if you make $10,000 and you contribute $5,000 to this account, then it's only going to show that you made $5,000 for the taxable year. You do have to pay taxes when you start withdrawing the money from retirement accounts, but there's a couple of options that you have for avoiding that. I would definitely suggest checking out this blog called The Mad Fientist, and that's F-I, Fientist. He has a lot of good articles on how to avoid taxes when you own your own business. So anyways, just wanted to mention that, and maybe it'll help someone out. Thanks for the podcast, guys.
Okay, so yes, thank you so much for talking about funding your retirement account. So even though we work for ourselves, and if you run your own business, you can still be putting money into a retirement account. Those people that have like good jobs, some people have those jobs where the company will match
it.
Their 401k. I mean, it's like, it's basically a gold mine. It's like, if you're not taking advantage of that,
you've got to do that.
You're kooky crazy.
Yeah.
So we actually don't do that, mainly because we are investing in real estate, and so we are just cash hungry.
Right, and renovating.
All of our cash goes into renovations or buying property.
Right.
And yes, but if we had the extra cash, we would definitely be putting it into retirement accounts. And so, if you just do like regular IRAs or Roth IRAs, it's $5,500 if you're under 50. But you talked about something called a SEP IRA.
SEP IRA.
You can do more depending on how your business is set up.
It's interesting. When he said 56,000, I was like, clearly that's a mistake. And then I Googled it and I was like, oh my God, he's right. It's $56,000.
Yeah. So,
my God.
It's definitely something where if we ever got to the point where we were generating so much cash,
you want to stash that
we
money
didn't know
away.
what to do with it. Like, it's just coming out of pockets.
It's just like, as they say, you need bigger pockets to hold all your money.
Then we would definitely talk to, and our accountants talked about that, like to do that. But I mean, we need every dollar right now.
Right. I think you opened an account to do an IRA the other year, and then, but then, we needed all the money to either buy a building or renovate a building.
Choices.
So, but if you have extra money that you're like, what should I do with this money? Like, you should definitely be putting it in a retirement account as early as you possibly can. That is it for the podcast this week. You can check out our blog at scavengerlife.com for the links we discussed and to join the conversation on the forums. You can call and leave a question on our voicemail line. Again, the phone number is 540-407-8486, or you can email us an audio file, as you just heard, 2 beautifully recorded audio files from people's phones. And our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com. We post an episode every Monday morning. On Wednesday, we post a What Sells video being brought to you by Steven Schultz. You can subscribe to our Patreon account and support us for as little as $5 a month. You can subscribe through iTunes or YouTube, always for free, so you get the latest episodes. We are ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1. It's free real estate.